Chapter 18. I looked at my watch as I left the house. It was almost 10. It had taken me longer to get cleaned up and dressed than I had thought it would. I had put on my only good pair of pants, the ones I'd bought with Harmony. In the 5-block walk, I had changed my mind 5 times about going, but I was still moving in that direction. At least part of the reason I was going was because Harmony was going to be there. I had decided I wanted to talk to her. Her being stupid with me didn't mean I should be stupid with her. Besides, I needed to know. Now, still half a block away, I could hear the party. I got closer and it got louder. Right out front, there were 5 people standing on the lawn. 3 guys and 2 girls, all of them holding red plastic cups. They were older, probably Devin's brother's friends. "Are you a friend of Gavin's?" one of the guys asked me. "No." "Then buzz off. This is private." "I'm a friend of his brother, Devin. He invited me." "Okay, go around the side. The party's in the backyard." As I rounded the back of the house, I could feel the bass pounding through the ground. And then I stopped, stunned. The backyard was filled with people. There had to be more than 100 people crammed in here. A stone patio off to one side was being used as a dance floor, and it looked even more packed than the rest of the yard. Overhead, Christmas lights were strung on poles. It was sort of pretty. I was relieved when I saw the guys and I waved at them. Jay, Taylor, Sal, and Raj rushed toward me, waving their arms in the air. "Robbie, my man!" Taylor yelled, and then surprised me by giving me a big hug. I smelled alcohol. "We didn't think you were going to show, Robert," Jay said. "I told you, I had to finish work," I yelled back over the music. "Just glad you got here before I have to leave," Sal added. "You're leaving?" "Not yet, but I have to be home by 11, so I only have a while." "And you guys?" I asked the others. "I'm good till midnight," Taylor said. "Me too, midnight," Jay replied. "I have a 1 a.m. curfew," Raj said. "And you?" "Midnight." That was a lie. I could be out all night if I wanted. "You should get something to drink," Taylor said, holding up his red plastic cup. "Yeah, you should," Jay agreed. "It's a very special punch." I could smell the special. "You have some catching up to do," Sal said, and then took a big slurp from his cup to prove his point. "Sure. So, is Harmony here?" I asked. "She came with me," Jay said. "I don't see her," I said. "I haven't seen her in a while either," Taylor said. "The party's so big it spilled out of the backyard and into the alley," Raj explained. "Do you think that's where she is?" "Probably, but I thought you and Harmony weren't talking," Taylor said. "Well, she's not talking to me. That doesn't mean I'm not talking to her. Lead the way." "Don't you want a drink first?" Taylor asked. "I'll get one later." "No need for later. I can go and get you one," Sal said. "Sure, thanks." I didn't want anything to drink, but what could I say? Drinking made no sense to me. I was working hard to be in control of my life. I couldn't risk losing that control. Sal headed off in one direction while the rest of us went the other, weaving our way through the crowd. The people were older than us, some a lot older, and they were loud. It was obvious they had had a lot of punch to drink. I was uneasy. The whole place gave me the feeling that people were on the edge of losing it. We gave a wide berth to a couple of guys who were yelling at each other. Judging from the way a crowd was starting to form around them, I knew I wasn't the only one who thought this could lead to something more. We'd only gone a few steps past them when there was a roar and somebody yelled, "Fight! Fight!" A rush of people moved in their direction. I pushed through, then turned and saw that my friends weren't following. They had joined the crowd watching the fight. The back gate was open and people were running into the yard from the alley, hoping to catch the action. I waited until there was an opening and then popped through and out into the alley. It was instantly much darker, the only light coming from a lamppost halfway down the block on the main road. The people in the alley were spread out, and I couldn't see if Harmony was one of them. Maybe she'd already left and gone home. That would have been the smart thing to do, which meant she was probably still there. Being here in this alley in the dark wasn't that smart either, but I couldn't leave without trying to talk to her. Harmony was in my head. I'd been thinking about her all during my work shift. If this was the end of us being friends, I at least wanted to know. I was tired of waiting for things to happen and having no control. There seemed to be more people to my left, so I headed that way. There were little clusters of people standing beside and between the garages along the alley. I looked at the first group, and they looked at me. They were definitely older and bigger than me. One of them scowled at me. I quickly looked away. I flashed back to the last time I was in an alley and then started wondering if those guys could be here tonight. That thought got me spooked. I wanted to just turn around and leave, and then I saw her. At least I thought I did. Her back was turned to me. "Harmony?" I called out. She turned around. She was standing in the shadows with 4 other people, one of them a girl, and all of them older than Harmony. She was holding a red plastic cup. They were all holding those red cups. Was I the only person not drinking? Can we talk?" I asked. "I doubt I could stop you if I tried," she replied. I was hoping we could talk alone. "Who's this kid?" one of the guys asked. "He's a friend," Harmony said. "Friend or boyfriend?" one of the other guys asked. "Boyfriend," she scoffed. "Look at him. Give me a break. Do you think I'd have him as a boyfriend?" They all laughed at me. I hadn't expected her to say that, or that it would hurt so much. "Then you should tell your friend that people came here to party," he yowled, and 2 of them exchanged a high five. "Please, Harmony, it's important. I don't want to talk. Just for a minute, please." "The girl said she didn't want to talk," the biggest guy said. "You need to leave." Harmony, her expression softened. "Sure, we can talk." The big guy grabbed her by the arm as she started to walk away. "Stay with us." "Let her go," I yelled. Judging by his expression, I had surprised him as much as I had surprised myself. "Or what are you going to do about it?" he demanded. "Are you going to fight me?" "Yes." He laughed. They all laughed except Harmony. He released her arm. "Do you really think you can take me, you little puke?" he asked. I shook my head. "That doesn't matter. I'll still fight you if I have to." "Looks like you have to," he said. He reached out and gave me a poke in the chest. "Just walk away while you can." I felt the hairs on the back of my neck go up and a lump formed in my chest, a lump of anger. "Maybe you should walk away while you still can," I said. His friends all laughed. But this time it was at him. He looked as angry as I felt. "I'm not afraid of you," I said. "You should be." He pushed both hands hard against my chest, and I stumbled backward and fell onto one knee. I got up. I brushed my hand against the knee of my pants, worried that it had ripped, It was fine. I knew I should walk away, but I couldn't. Instead, I stepped toward him. He pushed me again, and this time I almost tumbled right over and onto the ground. I walked back toward him again. This time I put up my fists. "Don't make me do this to you," he said. His voice had changed. He wasn't threatening as much as he was pleading. "Just walk away while you can." I shook my head. "I'm not walking away without Harmony." "Come on, Josh. He's just a kid. Leave him alone," the girl said. "Talk to him," he said to the girl. "Talk to him," he said to the girl. "He's the one looking for a fight." "What grade are you in?" the girl asked me. "8th, just like Harmony." They looked surprised, and all of them turned to Harmony. "You're in 8th grade?" the big guy, Josh, asked. "Yeah, so what?" Harmony asked. "I'm in 11th. We're all in 11th grade. I thought you were in high school." "We better go," the girl said. "Leave them to talk and..." "Shoot, the police!" I spun around. There were flashing lights, and 3 police cars were bumping up the alley toward us. I reached out and grabbed Harmony's hand. "Come on," I yelled, and dragged her away. The others followed, like I knew where I was going. A few more joined in, running with us down the alley and away from the flashing lights. And then another set of flashing lights was coming at us from the other direction. We skidded to a stop. People froze in place, captured by the beams of the oncoming squad car. We were trapped. Without saying a word, I led Harmony away from the group and into a gap between 2 garages. There was a chain-link gate. I opened it and we went into the backyard. I closed the gate behind me. It was empty and quiet and dark. "Where are we going?" Harmony asked. "Away from the police. This is a good place to hide." It was then that I noticed she was still holding a plastic cup. I took the cup from her hand. "I think you've had enough already." She didn't protest as I dropped it to the ground and it splashed back onto me. The house we were hiding behind was dark. No lights, no motion. Everybody was either out or asleep. This wasn't the worst place to hide, but what if the police started checking the yards around Devon's house? We had to get farther away. I led her down the narrow space between the 2 houses. Still in the shadows, I peeked out at the street. There were a couple of police cars, some officers on foot, and kids on the street, but they were all down the way by Devon's place. "Can you run?" I asked. "What sort of stupid question is that?" "Well, you're not even walking that well. How much have you had to drink?" "Oh, that's none of your business." "It is if we get caught." "Okay, let's go." We ran out from between the houses and hit the street running. We weren't alone. There were other kids running down the street along with us. I kept dragging Harmony along until we hit the end of the block and turned the corner. "I need to stop," Harmony said. I slowed us down to a jog. "We need to keep moving." She dug in her heels and we came to a stop. "I need to do something else." She bent over and hurled. The smell of alcohol swept over us. "Are you all right?" I asked. She answered by vomiting again. There was nothing but liquid, and the smell of alcohol and vomit was overpowering. She wiped her mouth against her sleeve. "I need to sit down," she said. "There's a parquet just up ahead. There's a bench. Come on." I grabbed her hand again and we walked up the street and into the parquet. It was a little square of green with a bench and a small flower bed. It was dark and empty, and I was relieved. We could sit here unseen. I led her over to the bench and we sat down. I let go of her hand and we sat there in silence, in the dark, for a while. "I'm a jerk," she said. I didn't answer. This is where you're supposed to disagree and tell me that I'm troubled. That's what the social workers always say about me, that I'm troubled. Just because you're troubled doesn't mean you can't be a jerk too, I said. A drunken jerk. Okay, I deserve that. I need to tell you something. The social worker called and told me that my mother went back to rehab. That's great news. And left again the next morning. I'm sorry. Do you want me to come with you to go looking for her again? You'd do that? If you want me to. Thanks. But really, what's the point? She asked. I guess there wasn't any point, and I was grateful she didn't want to. Tomorrow's Saturday, so you're working, right? All day until closing, but I'm home by 6. Do you want to hang out? I have homework to do. We both have homework to do. We could watch some TV after. What about your father? It's Saturday night, so he'll be out, I said. Then that would be nice. I really am sorry. That's okay. We all do stupid things. Do you do stupid things? She asked. I just offered to fight a guy who was twice as big as me. That was stupid. That's twice in a few days you've done that, she said. You really are a bad influence. I took a breath. Look, I'm sorry about your mother. And I'm sorry for calling you a liar about having a plan. You're about the only person who doesn't lie to me. Don't worry about that now. Right now we need to get you home. When is your curfew? 11:30? Then we can definitely get you home in time. You need to get straight upstairs and into bed so they won't know you were drinking. Yeah, maybe that'll work. I just feel so stupid. Good. Maybe you won't do this again. It doesn't seem to have stopped me from getting drunk before, she said. Do you know what the worst thing is? That you vomited on your shoes? She chuckled ever so slightly. The worst thing is, I'm doing the things my mother did when she was my age. That she still does. And I'm starting to think I'm just like her. You're nothing like her, I protested. Drunk, hanging out with some loser in an alley, she said. This is a park, and I'm not a loser. I meant back there. Oh, you're joking. Apparently not well, but yes. What I'm saying is she who I'm going to become? No. You don't know her. You really don't know me. I do know you, and I know you can become anything you want to become. I'm not like you. And you're not like her either. You're you. You're smart and not like you, she said. The only difference between you and me is that I work hard, and you can too. You just need to plan. Do you still want to know what my backup plan is? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I know I don't have to, but I'm going to. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you tomorrow. Right now, let's get you home.